Mamma mia!
This is Jason from Retro Gaming Asylum. Welcome to Game Masters.
All right, guys, we're back here for another Game Masters podcast. It's not on the normal day that we do it. It's got us all messed up, Randy. Like it's normally Wednesday we do it, but
speak for yourself. I thought I was going to be the only one here tonight because you didn't even know if you were streaming.
Well, that's
I'm not
true.
A tech guru, but
I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, we had some tech difficulties connecting to YouTube here a little bit ago. But we got that ironed out, and it looks like we're on YouTube. And YouTube was having some issues. People, the N Squared podcast actually left YouTube because they had some problems connecting.
Oh, geez.
And I know a lot of people are doing it. So hopefully it's not signs of things to come that we have to deal with.
It could. That could be another episode, guys. We're going to talk about the ending of all.
No,
YouTube, game collecting, already doom and gloom.
So what Brandy and I, we discussed, rather than throwing your guys' schedule, because we know you guys mark off Wednesday as a day to watch the Game Masters, every Wednesday except the second Wednesday, and we'll let you guys know, you'll see it on our banner, is going to be at 8 o'clock. When I have to go to one of those meetings, which is the second Wednesday of every month, we're going to just push the show an hour. So instead of 8 o'clock, we'll go live at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So that way, maybe that's a better time for some of you guys, but that way we're not changing days. If there's other shows that you like to watch on a Thursday, we're not encroaching on them. But Brandy said it should work for her. It'll work for me. We'll make it work. And as long as you guys are cool with that, I think that's a lot better than switching days, because I think when we switch days, it messes everybody up. And then there's other shows like tonight with the Rushmore. You got Mysticles, and who's the other gentleman that's on with him? Do you know off the top of your head? As she stares off into space. I'll take that as a no.
Difficulties, technical.
Okay.
No, I know Mysticles is on it because we were chatting earlier.
Yeah, he's one of our guys.
I didn't glance to see who else.
But tonight's going to be a short show. I'll get Brandy off the hook. We're going to go for only 50 minutes. So at 10 of 9, we're going to stop. And the reason for that is after the show.
Gaming, he's on there tonight.
Oh, Grailbound. Okay, cool.
Oh, that's right. Okay, he's on there tonight. I didn't remember who else was on there.
So after this, if you didn't get enough of me, you can then come over to the Crimecade, which we'll be able to put his link. Jason can put the link in the chat room. He's on Twitch. His link is twitch.tv/rap, as in RAP, _sheet. And that's the Crimecade. He invited me on as a guest. We're going to go from about 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern time. So if you want to come over and pick on us and bug us, you can come on over, and we'll have some fun. But 2 hours of me, man, like your day can't get any better than that, Brandy. What the heck?
Or I'm sure it could get much worse.
Well, I don't know if it could get any worse. I mean, let's just be honest.
There could be 3 hours of you.
That's right. That would be worse. Getting 3 hours of me, not 2 hours. Well, I don't know what you did when you made the show. I don't know what you call it, thumbnail, if you want to call it that. The little Instagram sheet. You raised a stir amongst the resellers and collectors and alike.
Well,
people are worried.
When you call them out, everyone feels it. They immediately have to go into defense mode because they know. But we're not here to ruffle a lot of feathers. Not all the feathers, just some feathers. Okay, we're just having a realistic, truthful talk. And
Kevin's getting his digs in now. You see that?
We're calling everyone out, We're calling everyone out. It's going to be wild and crazy, so make sure you guys buckle up.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, no more than 2 hours of me is enough. No, honest to God. Yeah. Like that's enough for me. But here's the thing. To be fair, this isn't on Crimey Kate, so don't come out there. I didn't realize I had this meeting, and so I was like, "Oh, we'll just do the show on Thursday." And then Brandy comes to me and she goes, "You do know you're scheduled to be on Crimey Kate on that Thursday?" And I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
And so because it was my fault. That's why we're cutting this show back because we want to give him the attention.
It was his fault.
It was my fault. It was my fault.
Old age has him forgetting, so he got a little confused on the days and the time.
Speaking of old age, did you see the picture of Daryl? Daryl's in the chat room. I didn't think he'd be here tonight. He was in the hospital. He decided to take a vacation in the hospital. I'm not exactly sure why, but he did.
Well, I hope everything's okay and hope all is well now. We'll try not to pick on you too much, okay?
We got Alfie D Caprio. Is that how you say Alfie D Caprio? What about Wednesdays after a full moon when Polaris is aligned with Mars? You're gonna have to let me know on that one because that's kind of like outside of my pay grade, man.
He can't even master Wednesdays and Thursdays time slots, and now you're gonna confuse him with all of that.
So Daryl says I'm alive. That's the best he can say. Well, as long as you didn't have a heart attack or some kind of aneurysm, I think we're okay. Crime Fighter, Crimey Kate, he's in the chat room right now. So after this, like I said, at 10 of 9, again, we're speaking Eastern time here. We're going to be heading over there. Enough time for me to shut everything down and get moved over to my other position. Yep. Anyways, let's dive into this, Brandy. Resellers versus sellers, scalpers. Let's do this first before you and I give our definition. I think this will be more fun because I want to see what the community has to say. So you guys saw it. Video game resellers. What is the definition of a reseller to you in the chat room? Okay, and for bonus points, if you don't like resellers, tell us why. Because I think there's a flaw here, Brandy, that I think we need to point out. So go ahead and put it in the chat room, and we'll see. Oh, look at this, man! Toilet clogger. He had 2 hours of Steven, and that's what put him in the hospital. Wow.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yikes.
That's rough.
All right, that was pretty good. I got to give that to him. That was really good. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. It's all good. So what's your definition of a reseller? and do you or do you not like them? CC Games. He comes right in.
He just pretty much said it. He said resellers are scum.
Resellers are scum.
Wow.
He come out swinging. You see that, man?
He did. He was quick to jump on that post too, and now look at him,
man.
So, but I mean, when we all think about it, obviously, there's differences in this community.
That's why we want to let's see what they say, and then you can get into your because I think you and I are on the same page, but I want to see because I think we're gonna give a lesson tonight. Class is in session. Professor Brandy and Professor Buzz is in class tonight. Anyways, Brooklyn says a reseller doesn't have attachment to owning the game like a collector. They just want to profit off of it. Ooh, I like that.
It's like that's good for like the tactic side of things, I will say.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Daryl says there's a difference from a good reseller and the bad ones. I agree with that. Crime Fighter says I have a collection, but some things I will sell off because I just can't hold on to. Maybe you don't have the room.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can't hold on to it. Either I don't have the system or I have too much. That's fair, right? That's a fair assessment, right?
Okay.
CC Games says, so there are good and bad ones, and we can all agree that scalpers are the worst. Yes.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna let Brandy take over here right in a second. I think people mistake, Brandy, resellers with scalpers. And so why don't you elaborate a little bit on that?
So obviously there's different types of everything. And like we were discussing like before the show started, a lot of people get confused and they label people under the wrong terms. And I think people don't enjoy the tactics behind resellers. So they just automatically umbrella them all together. So like a scalper is someone like, for instance, that when the PS5s were of like high demand, there weren't enough out there. They were buying all of them up and they were reselling them for like double or triple the price at first when they came out. That's someone who like essentially does that. Now, when you start talking about retro stuff and, you know, the non-readily available items, that's kind of more aware of like resellers kind of, you know.
They're saying it's rude for you to sit still at a green light.
I'm gonna sit here all night. You guys honk the horn.
Well,
and block traffic.
And so since Kevin is one of the guys that we have here in the chat room that owns a video game store. To me, Kevin does not fall under this category of what the community calls a dirty reseller. Kevin is a bona fide business, as we'll pull up CC Games here. Bona fide business. And what I mean by that is he's selling games to make a living. He's not doing it. He's not overcharging people for games. In fact, a lot of times, game owners like Kevin, game store owners like Kevin, we go to convention, or even other people go to a convention, they start buying things from him or go to his store. And like, let's say they're buying a bundle of stuff and they're like, hey, can you knock like $20 off of it? Kevin's like, he looks at his margins, he knows what they are in his head, and he's like, yeah, I can knock $20 off it and still make a profit. He gives him a discount. The dirty resellers that we don't like are the guys that supposedly are collectors or supposedly are even businesses. They'll walk up to Kevin and they'll be like, oh, dude, can you give me 50% off on that game? And Kevin's like, oh, man, I can't. I can do 65. You know, we'll give you, you pay 65% of it. We'll give you like 40% off of it or 45% off of it. And they're like, oh, okay, deal. They buy it and then they go and they flip it for double the price to make a profit off of, and meanwhile, there's Kevin with his hands in his pocket. Right? So I think that, Randy, is the problem that we see, not just at convention. We see this in general across the board. We see it on Facebook. Like when the Switch 2 cardboard, I call it the cardboard, the stuff at Walmart where they slid it over the metal detectors.
Yeah.
Dirty resellers and scalpers, man. They don't want this stuff, but they're going to try to sell you a piece of cardboard for $300. Well, Brandy would probably go get it, but
yeah, I might. I'm, and you know where it's going, guys. You know where I'm going to put it at.
Where the cardboard goes, into the bathtub.
Always going in the bathtub. That is my storage unit. No, but like people are mentioning, what's the difference between good resellers and bad resellers? That's essentially what we're going to be talking about. When you guys buy video games, you're essentially buying from a reseller. Like all of these retro games, they don't make them anymore. They're not putting them in stores.
Correct.
Like first-hand market. You're buying everything used. It's all secondhand. So the fact that people are going to hate on resellers, that's a problem because you're literally buying it from a reseller. I buy all of my stuff from resellers.
So do I.
And I don't hate them. I don't fault them. And the way that America is, you're out there trying to make a profit. You're trying to make a living. There's a lot of people who own reputable video game stores and they're pricing things like to market. But then there are some, we've seen them, some of those online companies that will mark up things $200, $300.
What about that store you got shut down? What about that store? That to me, they were scalpers because they were.
I got three shut down.
Okay, but the one, remember you were showing it on the one episode where they were printing out the covers and they weren't even putting things in original boxes, and they were charging more than probably what Kevin would charge, complete in box, correctly at his store, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what they were doing is selling counterfeit and like reproduction games, but the problem is that they weren't selling them for a cheap price, and they were essentially fooling people because they weren't clearly labeling them.
Right.
They were putting a white box, like a white console box, just like a cardboard box. They would print a sticker on it to appear like it was a brand new console
like
box.
GameStop used to do for pre-owned consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their stuff did say pre-owned. Now, at this place, it said new, and they would put like a GameCube in there, and they would sell it for $285 for a used GameCube.
Yeah, see, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and people were buying it because they were getting them around the holidays. You had unsuspecting people coming into those stores in the malls. There were 3 of them. I had them all shut down. And they were essentially selling like Hagane for the Super Nintendo for like a couple $100, and all these other like clearly fake. You could tell that they were clearly fake. Like the plastic was a different color. The shine on the labels. They were selling things overpriced. They were fooling the audience, and that is simply scummy, illegal, bad practices.
That's what I wanted to get to, because the gentleman here, he put El Patron. He says, my buddy scalps and says it's not illegal. It's not illegal to scalp.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Not. Like,
yeah.
You could buy, like this shirt, for instance. This shirt was clearance at Walmart. It says, respect my authority, South Park. They had all of these on clearance for, I think they were $1. They were $1 each. They had a whole rack of them. Could I have bought all of them and resold them? Yeah. Should I have done it? Maybe to make some money? Probably. But did I feel weird about doing something like that? Like, there are people, now I know that's like a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah.
Versus, like the analogs. Those just came out, the Analog 64. I bought
there you
one.
Go.
And there were people who were literally buying them just to buy them and resell them. And people were, essentially coming at them in the comment section because they would be like, I bought a white and a black one on the website. I no longer want that because the Funtastic colors came out and I bought 3 of those. And it's like, did you really buy it because you enjoyed it, or did you buy it knowing that you can make a couple $100 profit?
And that's what they did. They
Is
bought
it
it to scalp.
illegal? No. Do most people who have like morals and values and standards feel weird about that? Yeah. So those are the people who aren't doing it because you feel guilty about it. Those are the people who are missing out on that money. And the people who really just don't care, and they never cared to begin with, they're the ones doing it and they make the money.
Yeah, like if you remember the Nintendo Switch 2 hats that Nintendo was giving out at in New York, okay? I had gotten from a local guy here. He was in New York. He got a bunch of them. He gave me 5 of them for $1 a piece. Okay. Now, I didn't go and I started asking friends. I was like, do you have one? I asked Brandy. I was like, do you have one? If not, I'll send you one or I'll give it to you. I didn't sit there and was a scalper. But I did have a reseller he asked me because he wanted to sell it. And I know at the time, I don't know what they're going for now, but at the time, Brandy, they were like $65, $70 for the hat.
Wow.
You know, so I don't know what they're going for now. Maybe they're not worth that much now. But he had the Pico system that I wanted to get for my little one. So he says, I'll tell you what. He said, I'll give you the Pico system in the games for the hat. So he didn't have to pay for it. And I was fine with that because I know what he was going to do with the hat. Now, I don't look at it to me as I was selling that hat and scalping it, you know. But people will. They'll go out there and put it on eBay, and you got to pay like outrageous. Because I had some friends that were in New York that they sent me some of the stuff from the New York store, like the lanyard and all that stuff. They could have scalped all that stuff. They could have taken it and sold it for 40, 50, 60 bucks for the lanyard, the bag. Guys, a bag that you put your products in. A bag.
Yeah, like a reusable shopping bag.
Yeah, even though it is kind of like the new GameStop ones where they're, I don't know, it's like some form of plastic. I get it. Okay, so they're a nicer bag, but like some of these people wanting 50 bucks for a bag that says Switch 2 is just ridiculous. I mean, I just kind of sit there and I marvel at the stupidity sometimes that people are just trying to sell. Just and go ahead.
I think with us too, we're not.
Oh yeah, I gave Daryl one too. I gave Daryl a hat.
Yeah, like we're both collectors first. Like we're both collectors. We both play games, whether people think I do or not. And
hey, Bryce,
we don't own any stores. Like you don't own a store. I don't own a store.
Nope.
Have you resold some things?
Yep.
Have I resold some stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I go through like my entirety of my collection and immediately think, oh, this is what I'm going to make money on? No, that's not my primary goal. A lot of the stuff I'd probably lose out on because I really wanted the items or I've invested my time, effort, and everything else in it. So, you know, I probably wouldn't even make out like as much as I would like to if I were in it for the business only. So when you have, I guess, people like us, it's also hard in a sense to think for profit because everything that I get, I'm not really thinking about the profit margins. I'm not thinking about like all of that type of stuff. So obviously things are going to be a little skewed, but do I fault people for that? No, because people do have to make a living. But I just personally feel some sort of way when I've seen this happen at a convention. A YouTuber, I'm not going to name who, they were talking to this gentleman, and this gentleman gave them a whole bunch of cases for a certain type of game, maybe 3DS, DS. And the person was talking to this guy like, yeah, these will go great in the collection. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much. Yada, yada, yada. I listened to the whole conversation. And then immediately as we're walking away, he turns to me and says, man, these go for a lot of money. I'm going to sell these and I'm going to make like a lot of profit on this. And like, I felt some sort of way because if someone is so excited to give me something or add something into my collection, I feel so guilty and I feel like I have to own that item forever. Like there's kiosks and things. One, I'll probably never get rid of anyway because I like that stuff like the most. Like I like the weird promotional, that type of stuff. But two, when someone literally tells me, my dead best friend gave this to me, I'm so glad it's going to you and in your collection. And even though I bought it and I paid money for it, I just don't think I could get rid of that item because now I feel like maybe like I'm crazy, but like I feel like I'm obligated to like.
Shh! Don't talk about him. He just came into the chat room. Millennium Collector Ohio. Don't talk about him like that.
Oh, he knows what I'm talking about. He knows too. I'm not.
No, it wasn't, guys. It wasn't Millennium Collector Ohio. We know who it was, but it was not. I gotta pick on Thomas. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to distract.
He knows who because I think he was there too. So he.
Oh, he was there. I was there too. So.
Yeah, but it's like I feel some sort of way, and it's like that story and like those memories and the history. Like I think that's why I'm like a collector, like primarily. And I think if I did own a store, I would literally have to sell duplicates, or I would have to like shut off that side of my brain and be like, all right, this that comes in is going to be resold. This that comes in will stay on like the museum, like this side or whatever. So it's just like,
can I tell a story real quick with you from Pittsburgh, actually?
Oh, okay. You're naming things.
I'm gonna name it this year in Pittsburgh because it doesn't pertain to any content creator.
Okay. Okay.
But so I can talk about this. We all know Paul Niemeyer, right? Everybody in the chat room knows Paul Niemeyer. I've become good friends with Paul Niemeyer. He's been at a lot of conventions when I met him. He's the original artist of many games, but the Mortal Kombat logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were up there sitting. It was him and it was Brian from the designer of Rampage. We were up. They had just gotten Chipotle, and we were upstairs in the staff lounge area and where the guests could go to eat lunch. And Brandy, he was telling a story because I had asked him. I was like, Paul, I was like, when you're done lunch here, let me know. I want to come by and get this game signed by you. I said, man, we come to so many of these conventions all the time. Because he started talking about, I don't know how many more years I can do this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
and then it was a tough year on everyone.
Yeah, and I said to him, I was like, I want to get your autograph. I want to get you, Brian, I want to get yours too. And I was like, just let me know. And I was like, Paul, I was like, what do you charge for yours? He says, for you, nothing. He said, you're a friend. He said, I want you to add it to your collection. He said, I want you to have it. And Brian said the same thing, Brian with Rampage.
Yep.
And I was like, well, you guys got to make money too. That's why you're coming out here. And he's like, no. You're a friend. You're here. It's cool. We've gone out to dinner with him many times. He's like, I'm not going to, just like, friends. He's like, we just don't do it. He said, but I'll tell you what happened one time. He said, I was at a bar and he said, I was there with some friends and there was a guy, he said, that resold. He came in with a wagon full of stuff with Mortal Kombat and some of the other games that Paul was entwined with. And he started laying them out, wanted Paul to sign them in the bar on like a Friday night. He didn't say a Friday night, but I'm just assuming, Friday or Saturday night. The guy comes walking in, and Paul said with a wagon full of stuff, and both him and Brian were like, those are the people that we will not sign for free for because they're just taking it and they're just reselling it to make a profit off of our generosity. And like you just said, those things that you got, like, they'll never leave my collection. They'll probably get handed down to my kids. I have them set separately. And I didn't, I'm not one of those guys that got to have an autograph to be like, putting somebody on a pedestal. For me, it's like, these guys are friends. I see them all the time. Just like, I've got Dr. Scott's autograph for Pete's sake up here on his card that he printed, only because it was just like, it's a memory thing, right? Mm-hmm. At least for me. I don't know how it is for you, but that just kind of irks me that people do that stuff. It's like the guys that chase down the WWE superstars at the airport. Right here. Daryl's saying it right here. Chasing them down at an airport to try to get their autograph so they can resell it. Like, to me, that's just disgusting. I'm sorry.
And I follow Macaulay Culkin, and he just posted something. He does not like, and this is reasonable. I think this is reasonable. Do not approach me when I'm with my kids, he said, like for an autograph.
Yep.
I mean, that makes sense. You're with your kids. You want to, spend time.
Yep.
Don't approach at a dinner table when you're with your family. That's incredibly rude. And don't chase them into the bathroom. Because I'm sure people do that. Like, I'm sure people literally do that. But, like, that just seems pretty reasonable to me. But a reseller isn't going to care. They're thinking, how am I going to get that next buck? How am I going to, corner him so that he feels awkward and signs this item? So I just read it. That's why it, was fresh in my mind.
It's funny because, like, I've been friends with Michael Manna, who a lot of you guys know him as Dr. Stevie Richards. He's a former WWE superstar. He was in ECW. He was in all the wrestling organizations, at one time in his career. But he got into the video game side and the tech side. So I've known him for almost 20 years. And he came in for a signing at Wildcard Video Games, which is in Girard, 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And he came over to my house. Well, first he says, well, I'm going to do the signing. They're paying me. He said, I never met you in person. He said, I'd love to meet you. So I went over and I hung out there. Nice. And he was there. And I I drove him to him from the airport, and then we were going to go to dinner. And I said, at the church we have VBS going on right now, and I said we were doing like this stint where I told the kids I was going to bring in a bodyguard. He's like, dude, we should totally do it. Like you could like shoot a promo on him, and he's like, I'll be the bodyguard. He's like, I'll come in. And so he got his BWO shirt on, his jeans and stuff, and his sunglasses. And we went to the church, and we basically shot a promo on the kids there, like and like as a skit. But he said to the kids, he said, I don't have enough of the papers that have our pictures on, but he says Nova, which was other part of the BWO, he says, I'm going to get tomorrow when we go to the signing. He said, Steve will bring it back to you guys. He said, I'm going to get Nova. Him and I are going to sign as many of these as we can. He said, so he counted up the kids. He's like, what do you think? We need like 100 of them? I was like, yeah. No lie. This is not a lie. I'm going to pull them up here. I still have some in front. They signed these. I still have a bunch of these that they signed because we ran through them. He signed these, and he was like, he's like, I want you to give it. He's like, I want to give it to the kids. So we went back to the signing the next day. He said to Nova, he goes, hey, he's like, we got to sign these for these kids. And Nova's like, yeah, sure. Well, the promoter, not Mike, the other guy, the other promoter was there. He's like, well, how much are they paying for it? He goes, Michael Mann or Stevie Richards turns to him. He goes, they're not paying for it. We're signing them. We're giving it to them. And that's the way it's going to be.
Wow.
And he looked at it, and the promoter's like, okay, all right, no worries. And these are just like printouts. Like Mike was like, yeah, take the printouts. Like they're not even, you know what I mean? But it was something for the kids to have because they got to meet him, and like half of them never saw him wrestle. They just thought it was cool because he was a pro wrestler, right? But we were in there talking, and long story to get to this point. We were in there talking, and a certain member of the congregation, we were in talking with the senior pastors, and he was talking with us and stuff, and they wanted to bring him out at another time, and this lady comes in, and she just like interrupted because she knew that he was there because she saw us shoot the promo, and she knew who he was. She's like, oh, are you going to be here for a while? I called my family to come on out. And I was like, whoa, wait a second here. Mm-hmm. I was like, don't disrespect him like that. He agreed to come for the kids. He went, sat with the kids. He talked with the kids, signed autographs even on their shirts and stuff like that, even though they were getting other autographs. Like, he did it for the kids. And then this lady was like, well, my cousin has like this wrestling shop and he wants to sell. Like, no, we're not doing that. So we ended up leaving before they got there because I was like, no, you're going to play that game? We're leaving. I'm taking him back to, get him some dinner, go buy him some beer. So the next day he came over here to my house. He was playing video games here in the game room and stuff like that. And he's like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when you do something nice for somebody and then they try to abuse it and sell it. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm not charging anybody for my autograph. He's like, I don't know why anybody would pay for my autograph anyways at this stage in my life. But he's like, people do because I'm a wrestler. But I felt that was disrespectful because it's like he was there having a conversation with somebody. And it's like you said when they said about coming up to them when they're eating or, that to me is just totally disrespectful. Like, I would never think to do something like that to somebody.
Yeah, but once again, we're not the people who are out there like taking advantage of, situations. And,
no,
we've seen it a bunch of times at conventions. And, some YouTubers have gotten heat about that stuff where someone will send them in like certain items, certain games, certain things like that. And then when they do their game room tours, you don't see that stuff make their way like in their collection. And some people have gotten called out for it over the years, some YouTubers, and then some YouTubers literally sold off their collection. And we've spoken to some, and I'm not going to name names, but some have been donated a lot of stuff for their collections. And, they do certain things or they say certain things, and then next thing you know, they may or may not be selling some things. And of course, people are going to feel some sort of way. But at the same time, when it is yours, you are free to do whatever you want. But a lot of people, they put that emotion behind things because they see you in the limelight. They see you on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of people get upset when people go for different collections and then they film that stuff, and then next thing you know, like 5 episodes later, they're selling that whole collection that you fell in love with the story. You fell in love with the fact that they were buying their childhood collection all over again. They might have filmed it a year ago and they may be over it, and people get upset because they feel that it was done in scummy nature and things like that. But I mean, that's another thing too that we see. So it just depends. I think there's different layers to it. I think there's different definitions, and I don't think necessarily people hate resellers. I think they hate the tactics and the behind the scenes nature and the prices.
The shadiness.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call a spade, right?
Yep.
But I also think, like you touched on earlier, people misunderstand what a reseller is and what a scumbag opportunist. Let's call them opportunist, right? Because I don't think I definitely know all resellers are not opportunists. Let's call them scalpers. There's resellers, and then there's scalpers. Now, some resellers might drudge the name through the mud, but like all the resellers that I've met, I shouldn't say that. Most of them I've met have been pretty decent dudes and women. They've been cool where they've given you deals. They're not trying to take you over the barrel. I think that's when you got to sit there and go, like, loop them in with scalpers, because they don't have the collector's mindset where they're trying to help out a collector, or they're, everybody's got to make a buck, everybody's got to make a living, but they know they have wiggle room, especially when they're buying these things. In fact, let's segue into that. Since we do have a shorter show, we don't want to blast this, but this was something we thought we'd bring up and educate some people. Let's show you. Believe it or not, I actually had some pickups, Brandy, that we could show some of these guys that I did buy from a good reseller that you're going to see right here in a second. Take a look.
Hey, this is Michael Rickard from Wildcard Video Games. You are watching Game Masters on YouTube. Enjoy.
Let's do this. All right. So let me go to, let me see what camera I want to go to. All right. Let's go to this camera. So I got a pile of stuff that we're going to go through real quick, Brandy. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. Yeah, as you guys can see, I have a pile of stuff sitting here. My first pickup, and so Michael from Wildcard Video Games, I got to give him a shout out. This first pickup is Code Veronica. He gave me a super deal.
Very nice.
On this, again, reseller. This is what he does for a living, but everything's in really good shape. That's why, this was a game I played on the Dreamcast, so I had to pick up an original. I have a copy of it, but this is going in the collection. But the creme de la creme, if you will, Brandy, is an original Sega Dreamcast shirt from launch. It is a size large, but I'm not going to wear it. This is just something that we're going to...
I'll wear it. Just send it over here.
I don't want to wear it. Should I wear it? Is that something I should wear? No, I mean it's like a.
No, I would just keep it.
I'm gonna keep it.
It's like still in the bag. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah, even though the bag's open. The other thing I got, he hooked me up with, is a complete in box, brand new, never used VMU for Dreamcast. I haven't had one of these since I was a kid. And this is going to stay in the packaging. The battery's probably shot, but I don't care. This is just something to sit on the shelf. It's going to look good. Yeah, I'm a shelf collector for a lot of things. So this, he gave me a really good deal on that, because the main thing I contacted him about was, you guys know I have that 7800 that I had purchased. What was it, like before Christmas? It was what, $60, Brandy? It's like, I don't know. It's 100 now. And I think it was down to like $40 or $60. Anyways.
Yep.
I don't have any Atari 7600 games, so I said to him, I was like, "Hey, I'll buy all that 7600 games that you have. Give me a deal, whatever." And he goes, "Yeah, sure." He says, "I got a bunch of them here." He says, "I think I got like 8. That's what there's 8 of them here." And he's like, "Well, what do you want to pay for them?" I was like, "I don't know, like $30." And he started laughing. He goes, "No, thanks." And to be fair, I didn't see what games they were. And I didn't realize, because again, Brandy, I don't think of value when I'm looking at this stuff. Like, I'm just thinking of it's Atari, right? Like, I'm thinking of adding this to my collection. I didn't realize that Atari 7800 games are actually very valuable. And so he actually had some hitters. He had Choplifter that I picked up. And the reason I wanted these because I want to show that they work inside of that, because I didn't have any of those games. I got Joust for the 7800.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up Pole Position 2. That's probably one of the least valuable games, if you want to say that. Dig Dug, which is, I'm a big fan of Dig Dug, so that's really cool to have that. Food Fight, because the only game that comes with the 7800 is Crystal Castle. So
yeah,
but we got the Food Fight, which I have the little mini arcade of that. This is the one-on-one basketball. This is like a, I can't imagine playing basketball on an Atari 7800. But to be fair, I never had one, so I never played one. So Miss Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you what I paid for this. So it's part of this whole reseller thing. And Exevious, which is an arcade classic. Okay. So Brandy, all this stuff I got for $250. All the 7800 games, the VMU complete in box, the Code Veronica, and the T-shirt. I got it for $250. I thought that was a really good deal that he gave me. He didn't have to give me that kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But that was a good deal. The day before, you guys will see it on Instagram or in a video, I bought 50 Nintendo Powers from him. Okay? I'll just give you some of the standouts. He gave them to me for $90, 50 of them.
Yeah, that's a really good deal for all that.
This was one of the Nintendo Powers. Let me that he had given me in that. Let me see if I can zoom out on that camera.
You're like, let me.
I went the wrong way. I went to zoom in. All right, so this is the poster book. This is a rare Nintendo Power magazine. Like, if you look it up, it's also very valuable. Okay. No, I'm not going to sell them. These are staying in my collection. These two, I didn't realize, Brandy, that these were valuable, and I just wanted them because these were Nintendo Powers I didn't own. I had the original, the first edition, and then I didn't. There was something that happened. I missed these on the newsstand, and I didn't get the Zelda 2 one. So now I finally have the Zelda 2 because I'm a Zelda collector. It does have some water. Whatever you call it, like somebody spilled a little bit of water on it. It's not too bad, but again, I'm not looking to sell them. And then, of course, you guys all know I'm a Castlevania fan, so I never had this. This was one of the best covers, I think, that they ever did for a Castlevania, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks really cool.
So this was one. These are from the original run. This was like in the first 10 editions of Nintendo Power. So I had to get those. Those are just some of the standouts that I had gotten in it. And like I said, Mike was really cool. He's like, yeah, he knows it was going in my collection. I'm not being a dirty reseller and taking these and getting them for pennies on the dollar and then turning around and flipping them. I wanted these strictly for my collection, Brandy, to have them, because how cool is it when you go into a game room and they've got the retro Nintendo Powers that you can look at, right?
Yeah, because like that's something that you're like passionate for. Whereas, you know, obviously he could have sold them over time. He could have sold them for more. And if you were a messed up person, you could have been like, yeah, I love these. They're going in my collection. And then you could just turn around and flip them. But
yeah,
that's not what type of person you are. And that's essentially what we're getting at here. You know, a lot of people are talking about, you know, different things in the chat, but it's just, we're not trying to say that every single reseller is bad. And, you know, obviously there are bad ones, but there's good ones, and there's a lot of resellers. And I also think a lot of people are just mad because this is where we ruffle the feathers here. People are just mad because they either didn't think of it first, when it comes to creating content, reselling, flipping, being open about it. It used to be something that was, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but it just was very uncommon and people didn't like it. You know, back in the old days of YouTube. And then, eventually it blew up. Now everyone's doing it. Now people are upset because they go into their thrift stores and they don't find anything. They go to yard sales, they don't find anything. A reseller beat them to the punch. And I think a lot of that kind of has this negative connotation because now people aren't getting those deals of a lifetime. People aren't getting all the fun stuff that they used to.
Well,
I think people just group them all as bad.
Well, can I ask you on that point?
Yeah.
Do you think, how am I going to phrase this? Because I'm not attacking people, so please don't run to your favorite YouTuber and say
attack them.
The Tech Buzz is attacking from Game Master. No, I'm not doing it. Do you think a lot of these people are getting more scrutinized because you're seeing more and more YouTubers become resellers?
I mean, a lot of people were resellers that weren't even on YouTube, and people are in the chat.
That's what I'm saying, but the YouTubers seem to be taking the blunt of it.
Yeah.
Is it because they're in public eye?
YouTubers.
Right. That's why I'm saying, do you think there's more scrutiny because it's YouTubers doing reselling as opposed to just some guy that's not on the internet, you don't even know who he is, and he's reselling games and he's being a dirty scumbag reseller?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm not saying that this is what's happening, and I'm not saying YouTubers aren't allowed to sell stuff, but I'm saying, is the word reselling, is the reselling term getting a bad rap because it's a focal point on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably right to say. Like, even people in the chat are saying YouTubers are ruining getting good deals. I mean,
I don't disagree.
But at the same time, though, there's many people who aren't on YouTube who are getting the deals. I see a bunch of resellers, and they have eBay stores, and they have Facebook Marketplace stores. They're not on YouTube at all. They see me coming into a thrift store, and literally it's like, who's going to go? We each go our separate ways. I see him. He comes around with a console. He sees me. I come around with games. It's like, we both can't be in same spots at the thrift store at the same time, so we like divide, and then we see what the other has. Like, it's just
what I want Master Games Guru to expand on this. He said, YouTubers are ruining getting good deals because let me say, like, I would say, and my buddy Mike's a good example of this from Wildcard Video Games. Before he knew I was a YouTuber, he didn't watch YouTubers. He didn't watch YouTube. He'll tell you. If you go to a convention and you see him, Brandy, I think he's even said it in front of you. Like, he doesn't pay attention to YouTubers. I became friends with him because I'm local, and I was like buying a collection. I kept showing him how big my collection's getting. I was giving him business. I eventually became friends with him and started helping him with video stuff that he needed when he'd have these wrestlers come in, and I would stream it, Brandy, and do it live. That's when he started giving me discounts. He didn't give me discounts because I was a YouTuber. He started helping me out because I was a friend.
Yeah.
And so that's why I sit back, and a lot of these guys, just like Kevin, maybe Kevin's hooked me up with some deals. Yep. But I also have friended Kevin. I don't think Kevin gave me discounts, and I could be wrong, Kevin. You could give your honest answer in the chat room. I don't think Kevin gave me or my family deals because I was a YouTuber. I think Kevin gave us deals because he liked us. We were friends. I had him on some panels. Like, we legitimately were building a friendship more so than a YouTuber. I don't even know what you call it. YouTuber relationship. My kids were buying stuff off of him. I think there's more to building relationships with somebody getting a deal than there is a YouTuber. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I agree. I like chuckle a little because everyone says, you didn't get the deals because you're a YouTuber. You got the deals because you're a female. And I'm like, hey.
Hey. Well, that's true. I saw it happen firsthand.
No, it's like a funny running joke that a couple of my buddies say. But honestly, it is the friendship and the relationships that you make. Like, if you constantly are doing business with someone, a lot of times they want a repeat customer than someone who's going to be angry and leave. And like he's even saying in the chat, I resell, I make good profit. I have 2 other friends who win too. And we aren't all scumbags. You have to be on the ground reseller or flipper first to become a game store. I mean, that's essentially it.
And read this comment from Kevin.
Give a ton of discounts. Exactly.
Yeah, read it out.
He says that he gives a ton of discounts in general. The more generous he is at cons, the better I do in my experience. So, I mean, that's kind of how it is. Like you get people to come back multiple times, and
just being a
I'd
decent
rather
human
have
being.
that.
You're just being a decent human being. Like, you know what your margins are. You're not trying to take somebody over the barrel. I think this is something that we could go deeper into in a future episode.
Yeah, I think so.
But we wanted to kind of hit you. Maybe Brandy, maybe we do a part 2 of this next week. Or revisit it down the road. I don't care. Whatever. We can do it whenever. But
I think relate it more to YouTubers based, and we could talk about conventions with it. I mean, we could really expand because we have a lot of inside knowledge because we go to conventions and we set up earlier. We see a lot of behind the scenes deals. We see a lot of the shadiness that people,
but I think
started calling.
We're also honest, just like I'm telling people what I paid for this stuff when I got it. I think what you guys need to do is look at your favorite YouTuber and figure out, are they telling you the truth? And what I mean by that is, Brandy's going to tell you, she doesn't always necessarily tell you what she paid because maybe the store has told her, I really don't want this getting out publicly. And some stores will do that to us. They'll be like, yeah, we really don't want like this getting out. And that's fine. We try to respect that. But for the most part, if nobody says anything, we're like, this is what I paid for this. Like, it's kind of being held accountable, right? Like you're asking your audience to hold you accountable. I think if there's YouTubers out there and they're willing to be transparent with you, you could take what they say to the bank. And I think that what we're trying to do is expose it so a lot of YouTubers aren't getting attacked because it's just a misunderstanding of what they're actually doing or what has happened with them. So I don't know. It seems like this could be a good topic.
I think so too. I didn't know it was going to go this crazy, but I love all the the insight that's coming in because I mean this could really just expand. Like we're not saying all resellers are bad. A lot of people do have to start, literally from the ground up to get where they are, and a lot of YouTubers started from the ground up to get where they are. A lot of people follow behind that. A lot of people pay more because of the name, and that's how it is with anything. You could buy a purse for a couple bucks, and the second you smack a brand name or something on it, you're paying hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like that's the same way it is in the YouTube world. You like this person, you want to pay a little more. I mean, we could talk on this like all
let's
night.
do this next week. We'll title next week, "It's All YouTubers' Fault."
It is.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to get into that. Why don't we do that? Let's go in and kind of do a follow-up with this. Not necessarily on the same exact thing, but let's get into it. It's all YouTubers' fault and see, hey, I want to hear the grievances. I want to hear the people in the chat room. And I know a lot of you guys are calling out certain YouTubers. Guys, we're not here to make enemies with anybody. And listen, you're free to put it in there. I don't know the person. I'm not going to make an assumption on anybody. I'm not going to pull it up and be like, yeah, this guy's a dirtbag. I don't know them.
I am.
Well, you can. I'm not.
I'm kidding.
So let's work on that for next week. But right now, I don't know if Jason, if you have the link at 9:00 in 5 minutes, well, maybe a little after until I get rolling in there. I'm going to be a guest on the Crimecade show. And he invited me on his show, so I graciously accepted. So you're going to get another hour of me, and hopefully Brandy sticks around in the chat room over there, and we can kind of hang out. But we should have a little bit of fun. I don't know what he has planned to talk about. I know he has something from the community that he wants to talk about, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. So if you're watching this show, I don't know, Jason, do you have the link if you could put it in there? Or Crime Fighter, if you want to put your own link in there, if for some reason it gets blocked, one of the guys can put it in there. But it is twitch.tv/rap, as in RAP _ sheet. and that's on Twitch. So we're going to be over there. But I want to say, Brandy, for anybody that's listening to this, leave your comments on this video, either on Brandy's video or my video, and let us know what you think, because next week you get to blame the YouTubers. You get to blame the YouTubers. We're going to talk about it's all the YouTubers' fault. And I want to bring these subjects up, and you guys that think it's YouTubers' fault, send us a little video why you think YouTubers are ruining retro gaming. And it's okay if, like, Brandy and I aren't going to be upset by it. Send a video in, a 2-minute video. Any of you guys, okay? Any of you guys, send in a video. Send it to Brandy or myself, and we'll play it next week for a community post, right, Brandy? And we can see why you guys think it's YouTubers' fault. How are they ruining it? I want to know, because maybe we could solve the problem.
Call us out. If you have some beef with me, now's your time to call it out.
Yeah. So
this might be the link. I might have just posted it in there.
Okay. Cool. I saw Jason posted it in there as well. So make sure you guys, regarding what happened with Arcade 1-Up, it's definitely the YouTuber's fault. I 100% agree. That's why I got out of the space. 100% agree. Too much false information, too much FOMO, and too much grifting. You heard me right. In the home arcade space, there's too much grifting going on, and there's no passion, there's no love for any of this stuff. It's just whatever free stuff that they can get and they can shill. But don't get me started on that. We're not going to go down that road. Brandy,
that'll be one day.
Yeah, that'll be my therapy session. Brandy, what do you got coming up this week? I know you put out a video today, actually, right?
Yes, on GameStop, people were asking me how I felt because I have a love-hate relationship, and I expose the truth when I go into these places. Just my thoughts on them closing, whether it's a good thing or bad thing for the community. You guys should definitely check it out. I say some good things, and then I share some proof of legit things that happened to me that, you may have seen in other videos. If you haven't watched, then you'll see it now. But cool. Yep, that came out, and then I have some other stuff that I'm working on. So don't miss it.
Awesome. And I should have a video. I'm going to put one together either tomorrow. I have a long weekend. This is the first job I've ever had that we have MLK Day off. So I am going to be putting a video together on that 7800. Now that I've got some games, I've been waiting for that so I could actually do it. And I also have that the Castlemania games console that I have to go through as well and do that. So I'm going to show you guys that stuff. So hopefully that's going to be coming in the next week or so. But we plenty of videos to come. Stay tuned for our socials and get us those videos of your thoughts for next week's topic. Get it. It's all YouTubers' fault, and we want to know why you think it's a YouTuber's fault. No matter what community you're in, we want to know, guys. We got to let you go, and we'll see you over at the Crimey Cage show. And until next time, keep it buzzing. We'll see you next Wednesday night. Bye. Oh, that was a good show. That was a long show. What are you doing here? The show's over. What are you doing? Go away. What are you doing? Do you see this? Look.
What are you doing in there?
Why are you here? The show is over. Go home.
Go away.
Get lost.
Oh my gosh. Just in our house?
Yeah, go away.
Wonder how much more I can actually fit into this shower here. I feel like I have plenty of room to go ahead and put more stuff. Wait, why are you guys here? You guys aren't supposed to see this. I'm not doing anything in here. This isn't storage. You guys need to get out of here. Go home. Go, get out of here. Stop watching. You don't need to see anything in here.